call for reserve. This information should give you to give you the real information on the situation in Libya.
Sir, is there freedom of expression? Are people going to be allowed to protest peacefully on Friday?
As I mentioned, peaceful demonstration is allowed. And that's what happened.
Well, we're just listening in there to the Libyan Deputy Foreign Minister Khaled al-Kuwaim, who's addressing the media there in Tripoli. And he's just blamed most of the attacks, as he called them, on al-Qaeda elements, and saying that you could tell that from the way they dressed. And he also reissued his invitation to the international community to send a fact-finding mission and come to Libya. He said that up until the 28th of February, there had been no engagement by the Libyan army against what he called rebels, and at the moment he said there's no curfew, no state of emergency, and no call-up of reserve soldiers. Well, let's bring in now Mabrouk, who's a Libyan who's returned to the city of Brega after witnessing some of the fighting in Ras Lanouf. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. Can you tell us, first of all, what you saw and the kind of state of play in Ras Lanouf?
Okay, I will start with Brega city at 12:30 p.m. this afternoon. A plane attacked the main road going to the oil fields and split it in half. So they cut the road going to the oil fields. And then I went to Ras Lanouf to deliver some medical aid to the hospital there. And I was shocked with the amount of attack of airplanes by the government forces. These planes come at 1 hour intervals, and they hit the back of the hospital where I deliver these medical aids, and all the doctors and the nurses have evacuated the Ras Lanouf hospital, and about 30 ambulances were taking the wounded and the dead to the nearest city, which is Brega, and then to Jdabiya. So Ras Lanouf at the moment does not have any hospital.
And Ras Lanouf, so no hospital, but who's in control of it? Is it your impression that Gaddafi forces now control Ras Lanouf?
Yes, Mr. Gaddafi forces has landed using a very big ship, which we thought it was an oil tanker. It exactly resembles oil tankers, but it's painted as a grey color, and has landed about 12 boats, rubber dinghy boats, filled with soldiers, which they landed into the city, on the shores of the city.
And give us an impression also of you described the aerial bombardment being 1 hour intervals. That is a lot more than it was before, is that right?
Absolutely. It started at 9, I was told it was started at 9 a.m. and it continued up to sunset.
And you also mentioned Brega. Tell me what's happening there.
The Brega, the only one plane which is cut the main road going to the oil fields.
But Brega is still in the hands of the rebels?
Oh yes, definitely. Brega is very peaceful tonight. I'm here back to Brega, but Ras Lanouf, most of the freedom fighters have left due to the chaos and due to the very, very heavy bombardment of the airplanes attack, which is discriminate nobody. It concentrated at the Ras Lanouf city, and it was this big ship, which is about more than 80-90 meters length, okay, and it has 2 tugs, orange tugs, one in front and one in the back. And this ship released these dinghies, which is with the soldiers. We assume about 150 soldiers has landed to Ras Lanouf. But is this ship, is it our tanker or is it an army carrier? We don't know. Okay. I don't know.
Thank you very much indeed, Mabrouk, there, for talking to us there from your position, and for giving us that information about troops being brought in by sea. 150 soldiers, he was saying there, brought into Ras Lanuf, Gaddafi troops, that is. Let's bring in Anita McNaught, who's in the Libyan capital, Tripoli. Anita, we heard from Saif al-Islam that they were going to intensify, or they were ready to launch an all-out assault on the rebels. Is it your impression that may already have started?
I think it's been building in intensity over the last few days, and that gunfire that we heard early morning, way pre-dawn a few days ago, seems to have signaled the start of a new aggressive push. People at the time thought it was the signal of a victory. In fact, it may have been just the starting gun for this. As the government in Tripoli assesses what the international community can and is politically prepared to do, and what kind of interventions it might face, and also that the temperature of responses, how big an offensive can it get away with, how much is too much, and how fast and how furiously it can push its troops on the civilians. It's very interesting listening to the Deputy Foreign Minister, Dr. Khaled Qaim, who I spoke to at length yesterday evening about this situation. It's interesting hearing him talk about the way they've been handling the attacks when we're getting our reports from Ras Lanuf talking about a hospital being targeted in a strike, because he assured me that they were not targeting any civilian targets whatsoever and merely bombing areas that were not heavily populated, not where civilians might be vulnerable, in order to scare people away. But that's clearly not the case on the ground anymore, if it ever was.
And just to bring it back to the diplomatic manoeuvrings, is there a degree of frustration there that the Opposition National Council is getting some recognition and that people are now prepared to talk to them in some of the world capitals?
It doesn't stop at frustration. The government in Tripoli is absolutely outraged that the international community should give the council in Benghazi any time at all. But they don't view this as a civil war, as the International Committee of the Red Cross sees it. They see it as an insurrection. You heard from the Deputy Foreign Minister again, that once again they're saying that Al-Qaeda is the inspiration behind it, and they are baffled and infuriated that various governments pop up from time to time, like France, and attempt to give legitimacy to what they consider to be a little local difficulty.
This suggestion that a fact-finding mission could be sent in has been reiterated again. How likely is that to happen?
Well, the Deputy Foreign Minister told me last night he'd welcome a United Nations fact-finding mission in as soon as possible. That has to be taken at face value. Bring them here rapidly, because what the journalists on the ground have found is that the government is not facilitating any fact-finding whatsoever. And where there are facts to be found, journalists have been excluded from those areas. So the sooner the international community can bring people here, and the sooner they can be assured and granted full access to all the areas they're supposed to be investigating, the better.
OK, Anita McNaught, thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to date there live from Tripoli. Well, as we were saying a moment ago, France has recognised the Opposition National Council based in